Friday, Liz is live previewing the Berkshire Hathaway annual shareholders meeting, getting you a front row seat to the main event in American business. The industry's top movers and shakers have real insight on the markets, deals, and decisions. And Monday, don't miss Liz Clayman's exclusive sit-downs with Charles Munger, Bill Gates, and Warren Buffett, all on Fox Business, giving you the power to prosper.
Have you ever wanted to take more control of your family's food supply? Maybe even declare food independence? If so, pay close attention, because securing a wholesale source of non-hybrid seeds could be the most important decision you ever make. With today's soaring food prices, there's no time like the present to lock in seed prices for next year's garden. Introducing the Survival Seed Bank, the perfect mix of germination-tested non-hybrid seeds. You get enough seeds to plant a full-acre super garden that can produce an endless supply of nutrient-dense food for you and your family. And the best part is that these seeds have not been genetically modified in any way. So visit them today at survivalseedbank.com or give them a call at 877-327-0365. Remember, as food inflation hits grocery stores, a family garden can be the single best investment you can make. Start planning next year's garden today by calling 877-327-0365 or go to survivalseedbank.com today.
Through one of the most challenging financial climates, many of the smartest companies found a financial partner with the strength to stand against the storm. With asset management and insurance solutions to help secure employee pensions and benefits in unpredictable times. For the strength to see your company through in all kinds of weather. Prudential.
Money's so tight these days, it makes controlling our finances really important.
We used to have a checking account and a credit card, but the fees were getting to be way too much.
That's why we switched to a Green Dot prepaid debit card. It's like any debit card, but with Green Dot, there's no overdraft fees or penalty fees of any kind ever.
We use our Green Dot card to shop online, pay bills.
Shop anywhere MasterCard and Visa debit cards are accepted.
No credit check to get one. Simply buy your Green Dot card at these major stores for $4.95 or get yours online right now for free at greendot.com.
As the business day begins, one team is bringing you all the action. Tomorrow on Varney & Company, it costs what? The price behind the royal wedding. And at 11 a.m., catch Connell and Dagan, only on Fox Business.
We libertarians say government is too big and it does too much. But one thing that government is supposed to do, and it says so here in the Constitution, is provide for the common defense. If people want to kill us, we need a military to defend us. But at a conference of conservatives, Congressman Ron Paul criticized conservatives who support an aggressive foreign policy.
They believe that we have this moral responsibility to use force to go around the world and say, you will do it our way or else. Well, force doesn't work. It never works.
Force never works. What about World War II? Force can work.
Defensive force, sure, it better work. You know, if you're a freedom-loving nation and somebody comes and attacks you or us, yes, we should use force in retaliation. So there's a difference in which way you're using the force.
Lieutenant Colonel Tony Schaefer joins us now. He served 2 tours in Afghanistan, and he's now with the Center for Advanced Defense Studies. You differ with the congressman.
I do. I think we practically have to defend our equities. And this is where I think there's a clear division between using brute force without an end result in mind. And frankly, the bottom line, John, you brought up World War II. Parmenides, a Greek philosopher in 485 BC, said, nature abhors a vacuum. We inherited an empire. I'm not saying it's the right thing or the wrong thing, but we have, for better or for worse, been the force of good on this planet. Not that we should be the policemen of the universe, but we have certain things that we, I think, are obligated to defend both by treaty and by our own values.
Congressman?
But the big thing is defending our interests. He implies that, you know, oil might be our interests. And yes, we have a right to defend our country, but to pose our will around the world, that's how we get into so much trouble and have gotten into so much trouble. And I've seen no benefit from it. You know, I was in high school during the Korean War, and we're still there. Vietnam, I was in during those period of time for 5 years. what a waste. And now we're in wars constantly, and we don't even defend ourselves well enough. We're out there just stirring up trouble because what do we have? We have a true blowback problem that we have to face up to. I mean, the whole idea of us imposing a dictator in Iran, the Shah, it came back to haunt us. It's still there today. And now we go into Iraq to impose our will on Iraq, and there was no threat whatsoever, zero threat.
Well, but Tony, you say
we virtually turned over Iraq to the Iranians now. They're close allies of the Iranians.
I think it's an issue. Well,
you say we need to protect our oil interests.
Well, we do. And this is one of the things that we have again inherited by the fact of our strength. We have great strength. It should not be abused. I agree with the congressman. In many of those instances, we have made very bad choices as a nation. But what we have to do now is play this as a chess game. We have to use the resources we have to maintain the equities. And I use the equities in this case are the ability to have our people, the American people, have the way of life we've come to understand and appreciate, for better or for worse. And that means in many instances maintaining the supply of oil and natural resources that we have and enjoy. That's the bottom line.
Hey. Let the man talk here. Congressman can defend himself.
Yeah, that's rather frightening, because when you think about what we do, we're doing exactly that. There's no doubt about it. Our oil interests go over. They invest oil. Why do you think we're in Libya today? We have Britain, the United States.
I think we're in Libya because it was horrible to watch people be slaughtered by a horrible dictator.
Yeah, of course, they were never slaughtered. They just said fearful. Oh yeah, like Saddam Hussein has a nuclear weapon. He's going to attack us tomorrow. But on the oil, our military becomes nothing more than a police force for our investments overseas. If there's a vacuum out there, who cares? I mean, why do you have to? Why are we have a moral obligation?
Well, I think if we have $10 oil at the pump, I think the American people would be very upset about that. This is the deal.
And if we didn't have our military presence,
we have made some.
We would have $10 oil.
Well, we have made some very bad choices regarding independence of energy. I think the Congress will probably agree we've made some hugely bad choices. With that said, what we have left to do is find a way to maintain the supply we have until we find additional resources. Right now, for better or for worse, a lot of those resources are in the Middle East. Not only do we depend on it, our allies depend on it. Japan, Korea, all these other nations. And I don't know if you've all been there lately. We have done a great deal of good by having a presence there. Japan, Germany, Korea. Taiwan. Taiwan is another area. So we have obligations. These are our allies. We cannot midstream abandon our allies or our interests overseas.
And the entangling alliances really bother me. You know, we've had an alliance, defend Taiwan. People say, oh, well, if Taiwan's attacked, tomorrow we have to send all these young people there to defend Taiwan. I think that's a bunch of baloney. We shouldn't have to do that. Why?
We have a treaty.
We have a treaty. The moral question is how can a generation 2 or 3 times removed write a law that says we have this moral obligation to automatically go to war?
Congressman,
there's no right to take.
Let me answer that. For better or for worse, I grew up during the Cold War. I envisioned myself dying in the late 80s on a battlefield in Europe defending our equities in Europe. That's the way I came up. So at times, I think it's almost necessary to sacrifice some for the greater good. I believe that we were obligated then to defend the Europeans against the Soviet threat.
That's where we disagree, basically.
And on that note, thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Schaefer. Dr. Paul, stick around. We've arranged for you to debate this man. He's here. But first, some libertarians think Ron Paul should ditch the Republican Party and work with the left. That's next.